So from 4 men to 2 men, this the lightweight double sculls. Switzerland, first crew in the finals for them, closest to us, the brothers Gear. And then Holland, who were 4th, and we start our run down the line with the Swiss. 3rd fastest in the semi-finals, but those times may not be too relevant in view of the changed conditions. Well, then in lane number 2, the Dutch double, Daan Boddeke and Jan van Bekkum. Victories in the Cologne and Amsterdam regattas this year, but they were only 6th at Lucerne, and interesting to see how they actually get on in this final. Well, all Austria hoping for their first gold medal of these championships, and who's to say it won't come from Walter Rantasa and Christoph Schmölzer. They won this title back in Bled in 1989, but they were only the bronze medalist down under in Tasmania last year. Germany, and this double could really be a threat. Kai von Warburg and Michael Buchheit, and they really do look a smart combination out on the water. Quickest in qualifying for this final. Czechoslovakian double, Tibor Gropel and Petr Kovac in the bow, just making their final preparations. And completing the lineup, Greece, another crew which benefits from Thor Nielsen's advice.
Yes, Thor's been travelling around a little bit since he left Italy, and he's been giving advice all over the place to great effect.
Indeed.
Swiss ready, Netherlands ready, Austria ready, Germany ready, Czechoslovakia ready, Greece ready. Are you ready? Go!
Oh, the Germans moved very quickly away there, straight into the lead. And inside them, Austria, gold medalist in Bled, where they are in the dark glasses, experienced double. But it's the Germans who've really stamped their mark in this early part. Germany came 2nd last year, but it was a different double. These 2 men are obviously out to try and prove that they can make it gold, but they are now half a length ahead of the field and moving very well, getting into a very good rhythm.
Austrians in 2nd place, ahead of Czechoslovakia, and vying for 3rd, I should say Holland just behind. Here are the Greeks out on lane number 6. They've done well to get into this final, and it really is encouraging how Thor Nielsen manages to bring these crews on. Meanwhile, up front, the Germans and the Austrians pretty well in the same position as they were after that first 150 metres.
Outside them, Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia were bronze medalists in Bled. Very tough. One of the early exploratory outings in from the Eastern Bloc countries into lightweight rowing, and they're obviously taking good advantage of that because they're now here in the final and lying 3rd. But it's Germany under pressure now from Austria. The Austrians pushing hard very early on in this race to get back on terms.
Well, now a chance to look at the German double. Up front there, Kai von Warburg, who's stroking the crew, and he's the lighter of the 2 men at 68 kilos. Michael Buchheit behind is 76 kilos.
The Austrians are looking very long. They've got very good length forward, very nicely together, picking the boat up very nicely on the catch. Good coordination with the leg drive and the backs. Good swing. They're going to be very hard to beat, and they're putting the Germans under a lot of pressure here now as they come through the 750 metre mark.
With the Austrians, of course, being on home water, under enormous mental pressure themselves to bring home the gold medal if they can on day 1 of the finals here in Vienna. This, the new Danube, known as the Viennese Riviera, and here's a nice close-up that we can see from Walter Rantasa up front, Christoph Schmölzer behind.
So they're making their move here, perhaps a little bit early. They've certainly had an effect. I mean, they're now neck and neck, but it is very early in the race to be putting themselves through such a push. It's only really, it's before the 1,000 metre mark. It's a question of whether they're going to be able to break the Germans early on, because the Germans have got a very nice swing there. They're moving very fluently, but have they the confidence a new combination. Do they have the confidence to sit there and wait before they push after the 1,000-meter mark? But the Austrians have certainly moved ahead now.
And you can see the distance back to the Dutch, who are definitely in third place. And this is the combination of these two men. Up front, Jan van Bekkum, quick shot of him, but confirmation as they went through that Austria just had a narrow lead at 1,000 metres over Germany, and Holland in third place.
Now the Germans are beginning to move. You saw them quicken just there, and they've snatched back the lead again. Quite a way back to Holland. Czechoslovakia and Greece on the far side, with Switzerland bringing up the rear, but it was certainly the way the Germans moved very, very quickly there. Switzerland not really in it there. If he opens his eyes, he might move a bit faster.
So now the Germans, who've got maybe a metre over the Austrians, but it's not over yet. It's a question now. The question has been asked of Walter Rantasa and Christoph Schmölzer. Can they respond now?
Very cool sculling from the Germans. They waited, even though the Austrians were coming to them at 1,000. They held off and held off, let the Austrians actually take a lead at 1,000, and then they made their move. And look how decisive that move has been. They quickened, and we saw them quicken, and they've taken half a length in 250 metres, and the Austrians couldn't reply.
Well, this double trained by Harald Schröder, and he comes from the Ratzeburg club, the same club as Kai van Warburg. Michael Buchheit from Berlin.
You see now the Austrian sculls are bouncing in the middle of the stroke. They've lost pace there. They made their move early. It didn't pay off. The Germans are moving away with every single stroke, and they have split the field wide open in this second 1,000 metres. Every stroke you can see them there, opening up clear water, moving faster and faster away, and they are dead set for gold. No one's going to catch them. No one's going to push them. They are well clear.
But here are the Germans. They are their own national champions. They also won their national championship in the lightweight 8 as well. So they're very much men in form, and look at the distance they've put between themselves and the Austrians. That's quite phenomenal.
They have absolutely torn this field apart, and all of it in the second half. All of it since that they began to move at the 1,000-metre mark. And the Austrians must have thought that at halfway they had a good, strong chance of a gold medal. But no, it's not going to be. The Germans are way out in front and looking so strong.
Well, there are the Germans in lane number 4, 3 from the left, and you can see the advantage they've got. The Austrians have got to keep working because Holland are not that far away. They've found a little bit towards the end. I think they're going to be good enough for that silver medal, but the Germans are coming home to their first gold medal of the championships. The army of coaches are running and cycling along the far back there.
Germany with the biggest team here. They've got the biggest team, United Germany's first year out, and look, this is their first medal. So clear, so emphatic across that line of bubbles. And here the Dutch pushing after the Austrians, but the Austrians holding on in front of their home crowd. Holland third, and Switzerland in fourth place, with the Greeks just coming in on the far side ahead of Czechoslovakia.
Good effort there by the Greeks as well to get ahead of the Czechoslovakians, but the honours, without any doubt whatsoever, come, or I should say go, to Kai van Warburg and Michael Buchheit. Terrific effort from both these men. The Austrians, well, they gave everything. They tried to get on terms. They did get on terms, and they got their bow ahead. But when the Germans increased, well, they had, frankly, no response.
The Germans actually were unbeatable. Look at the distance there. That is so unusual in lightweight rowing. It's usually much, much tighter than that. That is a very good German double.
Good effort there by the Dutch pair to come back, at least make sure that they got the bronze medal. The Swiss in fourth place. Kai just looking out to his left, to the giant scoreboard, and he'll be very pleased with what he's seen, because he's not only won the race well with Michael, they've put up a phenomenal time. In fact, they're 5 seconds clear of the Austrians and the Dutch in third place. What a good time.
Yeah, he won't only be pleased with the fact that he's 5 seconds up on the other crew, but it's a very quick time. These times for lightweights, and remember they're lightweights limited to 70 kilo average a crew, their times are terribly quick compared to the sort of heavyweight times that we've been having over the last few years. They have closed the gap enormously.
Indeed, a world best time in the open weights or heavyweights, 6:12.48 for this category, and they're barely 7 seconds behind.
Whereas normally you'd expect a winning lightweight crew to slip in amongst the tail enders of a heavyweight final. So if they're 8 seconds adrift of the gold medal time at heavyweights, that puts them well into that final.